World leaders are ready to take the stage this Friday in Buenos Aires as they kick off the G20 summit. President Donald Trump was expected to meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin, and Trump even gave a statement saying he was expecting to meet with him. Now, this is until he took to Twitter just minutes later on Thursday morning and canceled the meeting. He cited Russia's seizure and wrote, "Based on the fact that the ships and sailors have not been returned to Ukraine from Russia, I have decided it would be best for all parties concerned to cancel my previously scheduled meeting." We are now joined by RT's very own Scottie Nell Hughes, who is in Buenos Aires with these updates. Scottie, we've seen this before, Trump canceling meetings last minute. What's the feeling like on the ground?
Well, Sarah, it's very interesting right now as all these leaders are starting to come in for the G20. In fact, I think we just had Chinese President Xi Jinping just landed a few minutes ago. And so everybody kind of had their schedule set. In fact, this morning we were able to get President Donald Trump's schedule set. So this latest development has definitely taken everybody surprised, and the ripple effects are starting to happen. Now, out of the Kremlin, we did hear the official comment came out that President Putin did say, one of his spokespeople said that this just means that he's going to be able to make more use of his time in meeting with the leaders. And we just listened to a press conference from the Secretary of State where one of their spokesmen said that in regards to Pompeo, he had no plans and was going to follow the president in regards to whether he would meet with a spokesman or with his counterpart with the Kremlin. So obviously this family photo is going to get a little bit more awkward. Now, in the past, not only have we seen him change these meetings, not necessarily via Twitter or at the last minute, but we know that President Trump kind of has a disdain for these type of political events, political meetings, political gathering of leaders. He likes more one-on-one, inviting them to his home and vice versa. We saw what he did just 2 weeks ago in Paris, where he did not attend the peace summit. He's also pulled himself or sent the vice president to other meetings around the world. So going into this, it was going to look like it might be a little bit smooth sailing, at least agenda-wise. And this meeting actually was a lot different from a year ago in the G20 that President Trump attended, because this was actually going to have a few more, I would say necessarily, friends in the room, as populism has kind of dominated some of the elections. In fact, look over in Italy, Italian Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte, who is kind of known as kind of a Trump of Italy, taking some of those same hard moves against immigration, trying to bolster the law enforcement in Italy, was going to be coming in and going to be standing next to President Donald Trump's side. And then you also obviously had Brazilian's Bolsonaro, who was just nominated and just elected on a populist movement. So President Trump was walking into what was going to be definitely a more friendly of a room than he has seen in the past, even though you did definitely see Chancellor Merkel and others who have expressed some sort of negativity to President Trump in some of his policies in the past. But going forward, there were going to be some key meetings that were going to solve some issues both financially and in the security world, which is exactly what the G20, when it was first formed in 2008 following the crisis, was set up to do. Now, however, the focus is going to be obviously on some even more strained relationships. Now, this being said, going forward, President Trump says that he would like to meet with Putin. He's always said this is the third time, in fact. Everything had kind of been pushed off, saying we'll meet at the G20. Now, what happens next in the relationship between Russia and the United States? And why exactly was this called off? Was it just as some speculate? And the speculation is very rampant right now because of the headlines that came down of Michael Cohen, President Trump's former fixed-man lawyer and friend, being saying that he actually was going to start working even more with the Mueller investigation, and that he actually had pled guilty to lying on behalf, is what he said, along with the Trump narrative to Congress in his testimony. Or was this something even more, as you're seeing that, you know, both the Trump organization's bank as well as his lawyers had some developments with law enforcement today as well? I don't know. Those are questions and answers that we'll have to come to find out. But more importantly, in the next 48 hours, it's going to be interesting to see how right now, how the focus went off from who's not going to stand next to the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, who's going to be standing next to President Donald Trump. Obviously, will this be kind of a game of Red Rover, whose side is going to come over? So we are hoping that this is going to settle down, and there might be actually still some solutions, and the drama can go away, and these guys can actually get back down to business.
Well, that's all we can really do is hope for some solutions. Thank you so much, Scottie. We'll be back to you later today for updates.
Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out our channel. We hope you enjoyed the video. We have tons of content for you just like this. For more of RT America's one-of-a-kind news and analysis, be sure to subscribe and never stop questioning more.